Good morning. Here I've got my two monitors, and as you can see, they are showing that there is a very low formaldehyde, and there's also very low total volatile organic compounds. These are the two things which are most important for us to pick up in our room air and what we are breathing. And these are low because I've been running my dehumidifier all night. And we've also got down here, you can see the silica gel bags as well there, which are showing blue, so they're showing that it's a low humidity in here as well. Now we know that the virus is fatal and it has caused this pandemic because the virus is able to replicate a large burden, a large load of virus particles, which is able to exhale, force us to exhale. And that is what has made it into the pandemic which it is. That two factors. One factor is that it produces a large viral load, and the second that we're able to force us to exhale that. But it doesn't do that immediately. We pick it up very quickly. We only need to pick up the fatal dose or the infective dose in a few breaths when we're close to someone. But that's going to take 2 to 3 days at least before the person is going to become symptomatic. And during that phase is the phase when we are at home. We are taking almost 1,000 breaths a night at home, so 2 to 3,000 breaths, which we have to take before we build it up to an infective dose. And it's only just before we become infective, we don't know exactly when, that is such an infective dose that we can pass it on to others. But we realize that we only start to treat it once we become symptomatic. And once we're symptomatic, then we need to be managed properly by the medical people. But at home, we need to treat this asymptomatic phase. And there are 3 asymptomatic phases. Some people remain just asymptomatic, so it only lasts for a short time. Others, it's the asymptomatic phase, which is pre the actual symptomatic phase. And then there are those that are post the symptomatic phase, when they think they're recovering, they're recuperating, but they might still be excreting viruses. So that's when they come back to us, and that is when they're at home. We've got to make sure that this virus is removed, and we've got to remove all the other pollutants which we have in our home, particularly formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is carcinogenic, it causes malignancies, and its presence in our breath can also show that we have an early stage of a malignancy. So we need to send those people off to the diagnostic hubs where they can diagnose malignancies early. There are quite a number of malignancies which end up producing formaldehyde very early on, which we can test for properly, and the sooner it gets tested, the sooner it can be treated. And then the virus is likely to be in the total volatile organic compounds as part of that, but that we need to also, there are other compounds, we don't want unhealthy levels of that. All of these unhealthy levels we want to remove. So we need to cool our planet, we need to remove all these pollutants initially in our home, and then when we can show we can do it successfully in our home economically, then it can be done the same way at work, on transport, on going on holidays, and at leisure, children at school, university students, everywhere, wherever people are being social. We have to be social in order to learn properly. And we enjoy being social. That's part of our being. It's part of our human rights. And our human rights get taken away from us. They get taken away from us in lockdowns. None of us like lockdowns. We want to avoid them. And we can avoid them. All we need to do is at home make sure that we sterilise our air and that we've got levels which people cannot catch anything from. You're not going to catch it with these levels. You're not going to catch a virus there, which is going to, it's such a load that you're going to become a very severe disease. There's nowhere like a fatal dose which you're going to get. As long as every breath we take is of clean air, the virus cannot replicate. And if it cannot replicate by being rebreathed and reinfected, then we have beaten it. We know how to beat it now. We know to just get on and do it. There are two things about this virus. It's able to produce a very heavy burden of virus, a lot of virus being blown out by us when we expire. Now here, we're expiring and breathing an awful lot of time, nearly 1,000 times a night or a day. And so we have to make sure that the air we've got during lockdown is clean in our homes. And if we do that by getting a dehumidifier, we know dehumidifiers, we've got them. We only use them when it's uncomfortable because it's too hot. We've got to now use them because our world is too hot, and we've got to use them to make sure that it is a way of killing all the other things which are in our air, which we breathe in, which are harmful to us and to our loved ones. If we do it at home, then the rest of the world and the rest of our country and everybody else will follow us, and we'll beat this pandemic, and we will know how to beat those in the future as they develop. This is a virus. It's not in control of its destiny. We are intelligent people. We are in control of us. So we need to take control and make sure that we beat this virus and that we beat this global warming and turn it into global cooling so that we can all enjoy all the things and our human rights as well. We love those. People have died for them. We now need to enjoy them and make sure we pass them on to our children and to everybody on this wonderful planet of ours. Thank you and good luck.